Roll call, Susan Heffley, I'm here. Kim Austin?
Here.
Daniel Krim? Daniel Krim?
I'm sorry, this thing is, I just got it. I'm here.
Okay. Estella Hollander?
Here.
Sam Meyer?
I'm here.
Matthew Mitchell and Valerie Payette are not here at this moment. Martin Ince?
Here.
Jeffrey Bauman? He is here. Christopher Fair?
Present.
Ryan Turley?
Here.
Oh, he's here. Adam Williams? I do not see him. And with our public guest today, Kevin Hayes. And you'll have to advise me, is it Kainoa?
What's that?
Kainoa
Kainoa.
Kelly?
Yes.
All right, did I get that right?
Kainoa. Yeah, you got it.
What's your middle initial, can I ask?
J.
Good. Good.
Good.
Phew, that was
Yeah.
close. Oh, Mood. Here, Jen is here. And that looks like all of the guests I can see.
Jen is here and Jim is here.
Jen and of course, Jim McCarthy is also here doing his time. All right, any announcements amongst the BAC?
I have an anecdote.
Have an anecdote, please share.
Someone yelled at me to get out of the road. And then tried to tell me that I was not allowed to be in the road on Elm and Beaver, like right as I was trying to make a turn onto Beaver. Because there was not a painted bike lane and therefore I was not allowed to be there. And I said, under Arizona state law, I am allowed to be here at Bicycle's vehicle. And then he called me a rude word and got back in his truck and left.
So did
Very
he
exciting.
pull you over? Did he stop you to
He stopped
have
behind
that
me.
conversation?
No, I was stopped at the stop sign to make a left-hand
Oh,
turn
okay.
onto Beaver. He stopped behind me. I was waiting
What
for
the
the
hell?
traffic. He
Okay.
popped out of his truck. He yelled at me for a while. And then he got back in his truck and I made my turn.
Did you get his,
No, I was like kind of
Yes, like-
unnerved.
yeah.
So I've never had that direct of a confrontation in
So you-
Flagstaff.
ordered your mobile camera yet?
That's what my partner said to do. And I was like, maybe I should. That might be useful.
Yeah. But then it's like rear facing, front facing.
Right. Who can say?
Say big truck, small dick.
Yeah.
Was it a Chevy or a?
I did not pay
Dodge?
attention. I was too busy trying to inform him about the relevant state law.
Boy, did he pick the wrong
He did not
person.
wish to hear my comments.
I'm sorry that happened.
Thank you.
Not that I can thank it.
Pretty good presence of mind if you were like, quoting a statute.
Thanks. I was just like, you are wrong. Let me tell you how you are wrong.
Just look up ARS 28-798, please.
Stroke 52. Yikes.
So
Well,
next time I'll say that. I'll have it prepared. Maybe I'll make a little pamphlet that I can hand out.
I dream someday we'll have like a little radio program where people can jump in with, anecdotes and conversing and stuff, but
They have stuff like that on YouTube.
yeah, but not yet. All right.
I got a quick story.
You'll have to wait for the public section to tell your story. I did want to just mention, so I have asked around about having a volunteer committee to help this city paint bike signatures on the road. I'm up to 2 volunteers, but if anybody else would like to be on the ad hoc, unofficial mailing list, can you let me know right now? Valerie?
Hi, this is
Yep.
Kevin Hayes. I would like to be.
Okay.
I'm Sam, not Valerie.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry. Sorry.
You can put
Did
me
I hear
down.
another yip?
yeah, Daniel.
Daniel?
And I think Kevin said yes.
Did Daniel say yes?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're getting a good group there.
You can put me down as well.
All right. In Inoa.
Or just Kai. I should have just
Kai.
written Kai.
How do you say it?
Kai is
How do you
what I
say
go by, but
full name?
Kainoa is the full name.
Say it again.
Kainoa.
Inoa.
Yeah.
Noah. Okay,
And you can put me down as well too.
Jen, all right,
And can I recruit people?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I will have to, I guess, I think I'll be able to get most of your email list, but I will start a list and keep you guys informed as we go along.
Excellent.
Anybody else on the BAC have a comment, question, or concern? Nope.
Susan, on that topic quickly, well, first, Jen, is this Jen Hanks by any chance?
This is Jen Hanks, yes.
Jen Hanks, okay, great. Just for our notes, nice to meet you, Chris Fair, Transportation Planner. And Susan, would you mind elaborating on the painting effort just a little bit?
Yeah, well, so I've heard over the years, especially somebody I work for, comments over and over and over again that the Sharrow markings on the pavements are often so worn you can barely see them. And then when we talked to the maintenance folks, they were saying, well, we are so understaffed right now. We're having a hard time keeping ahead of that. And so I suggested a volunteer group that could work with someone with the city to supervise or manage it, that we could volunteer to go out and paint some of these various bike infrastructure street markings. And they said that would be okay. And so that is what I'm rounding up to organize and act on. Does that sound good?
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, very good. So, okay, nobody other BAC comments, questions? Nope, only Matthew were here. All right, public questions, anecdotes, and
I just
other
want to
things.
say that the traffic circles on University are being installed. And I'm concerned that the bicyclists will either have to take the whole lane or go up onto the sidewalk. That's all I have.
Is that a 2-lane or a 1-lane?
It's 2 lanes.
It's a 2-lane
one
circle.
each way.
Huh,
These are circles, not roundabouts.
oh, okay,
So
Okay.
they're much smaller.
okay. Noted. All right, any other public comments? I don't see any hands or anything. I guess that's it. All right, we need to approve the minutes for December 7th, March 7th, and April 4th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for those 3 meetings? Any BAC people that a motion?
Yeah, I can motion to approve.
Okay, Sam is gonna motion. I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. On to, we wanted to cover what first? There was one plan,
Under,
You
number
guys
1
want-
under new business.
under new business. That would be the NAU campus micromobility rules. All right, go ahead with that, Martin.
It's over there. Do you want to switch screens or is that one okay?
Doesn't matter.
It's 2 to 2.
I can,
I can see you.
that's fine. I'm switching.
Okay.
Okay, can we put it on both?
Because they have to be on one.
Okay,
You can switch it because there's 3 of you and I can see either way.
okay.
Here, I don't care. Online, everybody online can see it as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a follow-up item from a discussion that we had at the last BAC, where it was brought up that NAU is working on rules on campus for bicyclists and other micro-mobility devices. And there was a question about how does it compare to the city's rules? And so I got a copy of the draft, and NAU's rules are in draft form at the moment. So I got a copy of those draft rules and did a quick comparison to what the city has already in place. And I looked at 2 different things. One is the definitions for different kinds of devices and how they're defined and what is defined. And then second, I looked at where they're allowed generally. So it's sidewalks, foot trails, roadways, et cetera. There are other kind of rules and regulations, and if the committee's interested, we can do a deeper dive on how that compares between the city and NAU. And I said the city and NAU, but we also compared it to Arizona revised statutes, which is where a lot of these things originate. So here are the three documents. In city code, it's Title 9 and Chapter 9-05, which is titled Bicycles. For NAU, it's the Campus Transit Regulations. If NAU is okay with it, I will post those in a place where you can review them. I think they'll be okay as a follow-up. And then finally, ARS, Arizona Revised Statute, is Title 28, which is titled Transportation. I got a couple slides here that talk about bicycles. And here we have city, NAU, and state. And when we go into this further, we can actually kind of copy those definitions and see them kind of side by side. But the city and the state are identical. We have bicycles and then 3 classes of e-bikes. The state is the same. I think our definition for motorized bike might be a little bit different from the state. NAU defines only bicycle, and that includes anything that's electric or human powered. Motorized bike is not part of NAU's definition of bicycle. So moving on, these are various kinds of powered micromobility devices. The city and the state have a definition for electric personal assistive mobility device. That's a long way, essentially, of saying a Segway. That's been in statute for a number of years. More recently, both the city and the state, well, the state added definitions for electric stand-up scooters and electric miniature scooters, and the city copied those definitions. The state has a definition for motorized skateboards, which the city doesn't have. NAU has 2 definitions. They call them motorized devices and street authorized motorized devices. They cover a range of things. It's not entirely clear. I've been in contact with NAU to try to clarify the difference between the two. In general, a street authorized motorized device is anything that's defined in ARS. And a motorized device is anything that's not defined in ARS. And I think that needs to probably be clarified. They're working with their police department to figure out which is which. So I think if it's street authorized, that would mean things like Segways and these scooters, which are included in ARS.
What's a Segway?
A Segway, I think the company went out of business actually with it. Segways, it's got 2 wheels. You stand on a platform, there's a handle.
It did go out of business, I believe.
They were popular with tours. And a number of years ago, they lobbied state legislatures in every state and were successful in like 30 some of them to include this definition. And we're going to cover it in a little bit, but they're essentially given the same rights and responsibilities as pedestrians. So they can be anywhere that a pedestrian could be. Yeah, including in Arizona. Non-motorized devices, the city defines something called lightweight wheeled vehicles, which is anything from rollerblades to little scooters. We also have a different definition for skateboard. And NAU has a similar thing for non-motorized pedestrian device. I didn't see anything that was equivalent in state. And then finally, these are devices that people use for mobility. The city has a category called exempt vehicles, which includes wheelchairs, strollers, the old radio flyer wagons that you would pull with a kid in it. And it assumes that they're not motorized. NAU has a definition of power-driven mobility device. The state has a definition for motorized wheelchair. The city does not have a definition for a motorized wheelchair, but it probably doesn't matter because I think any of the things in this category are allowed everywhere pedestrians are allowed, pretty much by default. They really, you really can't regulate them separately. So a couple of other notes. As I mentioned, NAU includes e-bikes with a definition of bikes, whereas the city and ARS define 3 classes. When we went through the process to update city code to include the 3 classes of e-bikes, it seemed like that was becoming an industry standard, but I really wonder if that is kind of caught on. I don't know that that's common lexicon when you buy an e-bike or go to the store or rent one or that there's even a sticker on the bike that lets you know if it's a class 1, 2, or 3.
It kind of depends on where they're purchased. So if you order one from China, they may or may not tell you whether it's class 1, 2, or 3. But I think if you buy them in the US, they're more likely to have those, but I don't know that guarantees that they'll have those classifications.
I think public information and public knowledge, as well as enforcement, becomes a little bit more challenging if the classes are not well understood
Yeah.
or
Identified.
Yeah, identified. Yeah.
And you can hack into the software of any of those apparently and change what class they become. Yeah.
Yeah, because the 3 classes are kind of speed-based. It's the differences are whether it's pedal assist or throttle and how fast it can go before the power cuts out. Further notes, I mentioned city code and ARS are identical for a few devices. The city doesn't really have many definitions for motorized devices other than bikes, scooters, and segways. So things like one wheels.
Yeah.
And hoverboards and other things that are kind of becoming more popular. We don't have it. Is there a name for there's like a bigger wheel that you stand kind of on? You put
I know,
it
both sides of.
side of.
Yeah, I don't know. what
Is there a
they're
name
called.
for that? Other than
One
that?
wheel?
I thought it was one wheel, but I don't know. There's a lot of them on campus though.
And I think they're all supposed to be, I think the government said they're to product safety. Someone,
The guy in the basement.
I'm using, they
say.
said, no, I thought they were supposed to be taken off the market and you
Really?
can't purchase them anymore. I
Because
don't know if it's product safety, consumer product safety, or if it's government, because there are so many injuries from them. I mean, you hit one little boop and down you go.
I see people flying on those.
I know.
Yeah.
So
I know.
one wheels resemble kind of a skateboard. They have like a platform and then a big thick wheel in the middle of it. Put your feet on either side and they kind of go sideways. And then the other ones that I'm thinking of have like the bigger wheel and you stand and face forward, it goes. And then there are hoverboards which have 2 wheels and they're kind of like a Segway but without a handle. So there's 2 wheels on the outside. You stand on a platform. You kind of go
I
forward.
think one is a one-wheel scooter and one is a one-wheel skateboard. I'm thinking. There's the difference. Sorry.
Kevin has a question.
Oh, just a comment. I also wanted to let you guys know that you can buy class 1 stickers on Amazon pretty cheaply, so it's not like it's regulated or anything.
Oh, nice. You can put it on a gasoline powered bicycle and
For that, laser print one for yourself.
It's like a get out of jail free card.
Exactly.
So I think one of the challenges is writing definitions to cover things when the technology changes and new devices come out. And short of having a very specific definition for each device, it becomes challenging. Segways, for example, if you read the definition, at the time were pretty specific to segways. It really didn't, even though the name was different, they didn't use a trade name. It felt like it was pretty specific to a Segway. I think that definition could almost apply to some of the things that we're talking about, but I'm not sure. So I think in any of the 3 sets of regulations that we're talking about, the city, NAU, or the state, there is probably some inherent unclarity in what definitions apply to what and how different devices are regulated.
like there's been an easy solution to that and that there's no enforcement of any kind on anything. So, if there is, I've certainly missed it. Go ahead. That was just a little segue.
That's all right. In the original sense. And then I mentioned we're trying to get some clarification from NAU, and I think they're working on it as well, and the difference between how they classify street authorized motorized devices and how that's different from motorized devices. Again, enforcement aside, I think people who have these devices who are conscientious will want to know where they're allowed or not allowed or what the rules are. And they're not conscientious.
If I recall, some of the discussion about street authorized motorized devices was around whether or not people could take gas powered dirt bikes or things for which you would have a license, where you could get a license, things that are more like motorcycles than they are like e-bikes on the pedways on NAU. And so there was an attempt to make a distinction between a device that should always be in the road for which you require a license that's street legal
And registration.
versus like a gas powered dirt bike. And also, if I recall, this came up in part because of one person who has a very loud gas powered device of some kind who likes to ride it on the sidewalk at NAU. So I think that was the discussion around street authorized, is basically you can't take your motorcycle on the pedway. But that's my recollection.
So I think one of the challenges that there's a class of vehicles, and I think like the brand name of one of them is Saron or something like that.
Sauron?
They're mini e-motorcycles,
Oh,
which are not street legal. I don't think they can be made street legal.
Sounds like something you get at Harbor Freight.
And and they go about 45 miles an hour.
oh geez. Yeah. Exciting.
Well, we were going through this discussion, we, excuse me, separated out gasoline powered bikes as they are welcome in the bike lanes, but not FUTs or other bike trails.
Does the NAU definition for motorized devices include source of power? I can't recall now.
Oh, I don't have it up, but I think it covered both electric and fuel.
Yeah, that was my thought as well.
Yeah. So this might be a good time to ask Lieutenant Turley if he might weigh in on his and the PD's experience with enforcement or issues or things that are happening out in the real world with different devices.
Yeah, do you have any specific questions regarding it?
What I guess not, but maybe what's your experience been with enforcement, or are there specific issues that you've seen, either in terms of how these things are operated, or where they're operated? Has enforcement been, like even finding these things been a challenge?
I think they're anywhere you can go. I think we've seen more, I think, on sidewalks, maybe on the foot trail. I haven't heard anything, and I haven't heard any complaints about it. From enforcement, we're probably not doing much enforcement on it, to be honest with you.
Have you ever considered like incorporating that into a plan, or it's just been off your radar so far?
It's been off the radar. I mean, if we see something that we can address at the time, depending on if we're going to call for service, I think we do that. But I think it's low priority for us at the moment.
And I forgot what I was gonna say. Never
I
mind.
might ask him if there's been accidents.
Do you keep track of complaints that come in from the urban trail systems or whatnot? Or do you get complaints?
I've had one complaint on the urban trail system. I believe that was last year. We've had some collisions with a motorized scooter. I think that we've had 2 of those. in recent times.
A motorized scooter and a pedestrian, or a motorized scooter and what?
Vehicle for both.
I believe we had a fatality involving a motor vehicle and a scooter.
Flag?
Yeah, is that correct, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
Uh,
A few weeks ago?
yeah, a couple of weeks ago. I don't have the date off the top of my head.
Is that around campus then, or?
Beulah and Lake Mary.
Wow.
Do you know any other details? Okay. Mhm.
Martin, when you were looking at this, were you looking at all at where NAU would like bicyclists and mobility devices to travel? That, oh, never
Yeah.
mind. That was, you pay $5 after the meeting. Okay,
You owe him or he owes you?
he owes me.
So this is the comparison, and it's probably worth mentioning that this is a work in progress because we not completely understanding the clarification between NAU's definitions. We don't always know how to compare to what the city has. However, I think some of the other things we can do. And also, I think that this last column on sidewalks is correct, that these items are allowed everywhere. But I need NAU to clarify that for me, that I asked about it specifically, and the response I got back is that they're technically allowed, but they attempt to steer them to other locations. But that's probably worth just verifying that that's the case. Do you remember?
The city, they're allowed citywide, but not downtown.
Yes, and there are some nuances like that, like where it's posted, devices can be prohibited from sidewalks, like most things are prohibited on downtown sidewalks, as you mentioned. So here we have here are different categories of devices, and then here are 4 different locations: roadways, bike lanes, paths, as they call it on campus, or foot trails in the city, and then sidewalks. And then this column is simplified for the city because we divide it into aggregate foots or unpaved gravel foots and paved foots. For bicycles, and so you can kind of see like where we're the same, what's allowed where, and where we differ from NAU. So bikes and class 1 and 2 e-bikes are pretty much allowed on any of these facilities. Again, this is a simplification because any e-bike is not allowed on either the Arizona Trail or the Nate Avery Trail. And then as Jim mentioned, no bikes are allowed on downtown sidewalks. Class 3, the city begins to regulate, so they're not allowed on foot trails or sidewalks. But NAU, because all e-bikes are lumped in with bikes, are still allowed in all those locations. And just for context, class 3 is a pedal assist e-bike, but the motor allows you to go up to 28 miles per hour before it cuts out. Motorized bicycle, the same. I think somebody mentioned that we don't allow them on foot trails or sidewalks. Segways, because they're given the rights and responsibilities of pedestrians, are allowed everywhere. And that's ARS, not the city or NAU. Stand-up scooters, NAU, we think allows them on all these facilities. The city doesn't allow them on sidewalks. And it's a yes, no on foot trails because they're allowed on paved foot trails and not on aggregate foot trails. And I think when we went through that, the principal concern on aggregate foot trails is the suitability of those devices on an aggregate surface, really more than anything. Stand-up scooters are really like if you go to other cities and they have scooter share, that's really what a stand-up scooter is. That's how it's defined. And then here are the 2 categories from NAU. So the city, we're not sure if there's something equivalent on the city side. But NAU allows street authorized motorized devices on roadways, bike lanes, paths, and sidewalks. But motorized devices are not allowed on the roadway or in bike lanes, and they're limited to paths and sidewalks. Non-motorized devices, and this would be like skateboards, scooters that don't have a motor, rollerblades, are allowed in the city on roadways, bike lanes, foot trails, and sidewalks. But on campus, they're not allowed on roadways or bike lanes. I don't know if we talked about it at the time we were reviewing the city standards, but one of the reasons that you can maybe question why a skateboard would be allowed in the roadway, but think about like a kid on a skateboard in a residential street. That is kind of how they get around it. It feels like it's okay. And then bike lanes as well. And then this last row is a trick question because, as I said before, mobility devices are by default allowed everywhere. Don't get to regulate those.
Can I get a copy of just that?
Sure.
Thanks.
I'll share the whole thing.
Martin, I see Daniel Krim has his hand up.
Daniel.
Yeah, I wanted to show you guys something. Lieutenant Turley and I, we went to Durango recently. Are you Lieutenant O'Brien? Am I getting that right?
Yes, sir. I don't know what you're about to do, but be careful, Daniel.
No, we went there. In full disclosure, we went there for a kids' soccer tournament. Both our kids play on the same team. And yeah, and while we're there, you probably remember this, Ryan. I don't know if this is going to show up on here. Hold on, my phone is going to want to flip, but I took a picture of this. Let me see if I can get this on here. So this was on the sidewalk. It was like stamped onto the sidewalk, and it says dismount zone. And it was at the entrance of every sidewalk around downtown, telling people, hey, get off your bike, get off your skateboard, don't ride it on the sidewalk here. And I just thought that was really cool. I don't know if you guys were able to see that or not. Let me try it one more time.
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah, we can see it.
It was pretty clear.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that was a pretty nice touch as far as infrastructure goes. But really, like, when I think you guys all know that I work in personal injury, and we do a lot of bicycle cases, and a lot of times like, yeah, it's really hard to enforce it, but the police become involved when somebody gets hurt, right? And that's really when our office is getting called too. So we're seeing where these conflicts come in, where a person is riding a bicycle on the sidewalk, or an e-bike or a scooter, and they're riding on the sidewalk, and they have a dust up with a vehicle, and then and then the insurance company wants to know, and the police officer wants to know, like, was this person allowed to be riding here for like fault purposes, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess they need that chart too.
Thank you for that, Daniel. And just to contribute to the conversation, there are a few that I've seen of those dismount zones on NAU campus, especially as you approach, like just high traffic areas with where a cycle track might intersect with where a lot of people are expected to walk in multiple directions. There's two that I can think of on North Campus alone. So it seems like they're also here.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to have those downtown where you're not supposed to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk. Especially because if a student is coming off campus where they're allowed to, and coming into the downtown area where they're not allowed to, it'd be nice to inform them right there, like, hey, get off your bike, and you're not allowed to do that here.
So did you say that those signs in Durango were stamped into the pavement, or they were just plaques that were embedded in the pavement or painted?
It seems like to me that they were stamped into the concrete on the sidewalk.
I think they were stamped in.
Okay.
I do agree with Daniel, though, that there needs to be some way students that just don't know, like, you know what I mean? When they're using their bike or their micromobility device as transportation, they need to know, yeah, what is allowed and what isn't, because, you know, it's just good to know, especially downtown, right, where there's a lot of pedestrians and.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would probably be the best application.
Yeah, I
And you
s-
cross the street and the rules change.
Right. Yeah, that's not
That's the
ideal.
problem.
I will say that dismount zones are only for bikes. The NAU ones that I can think of, the symbols are only for bikes, and I do not see many bicyclists dismounting at those, at least at the one I go through most frequently. They'll slow down, but they won't get off their bikes, and people on other devices don't do anything. They go wherever, in my experience.
There with little teetering wheels.
If you ever on one of the university system campuses in California, like Davis or Santa Barbara or San Diego, I've seen them in a number of different places. They use roundabouts for bikes, and it's kind of an elegant solution to help keep everyone separated and safe in conflict areas without necessarily making bike riders or skateboarders dismount.
I've not seen those, but they sound cool.
Pretty cool. They're little mini versions of the same ones that you've seen enjoy on the roads. Also, it's probably worth mentioning, I bet nobody knows this, but there are signs downtown that have the bike symbol, the skateboard symbol, and the rollerblade symbol with a red X through it on streets downtown where they are prohibited. So there is public notification. I would be surprised if anybody has actually noticed them. They are, next time you go through downtown, your challenge is to find them.
I've seen them, but I won't tell anyone.
You're an insider though.
I'm an insider and I helped you make the map, so, you know, I'm a cheater.
Okay, all right.
I've stopped people riding their bike downtown and they'll say, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to ride here.
Yeah.
We'll go to more FPAC meetings. Everybody
I
will know
think
that.
it's the FMPO's problem there, to point fingers.
Okay. I think we, generally covered
Cool.
those points. Any other comments, suggestions?
That's awesome.
What's that last slide say?
Very good. Could you do that again?
So I mentioned, we think that that's the
Okay.
case, based on the table for sidewalks on NAU, but we should really clarify that. The city regulates class 3 bikes differently, and then segways are treated as pedestrians per ARS 28908.
The 2 trails where electric motorbikes are not allowed, are they posted? Is the signs telling people they can't ride an electric?
There's not, no.
There should be.
There needs to be, yeah.
There's an action item for somebody.
Hey, Martin, do you think we should update the map? It's pretty old.
The sidewalk one, we could do that. yeah.
The city commuter map? Or
No,
you think that?
The no biking in downtown Flagstaff map that we made in 2010. I don't know. It's really old.
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed, but I'm thinking graphics have.
Oh, these kids.
Like the technology has. It's a great map.
it's a little pixelated. I think we've been using the same one.
We could do something cool with our GIS, have an interactive map of cities, but
I've heard we got somebody on
get a
staff.
geography grad student, they could do that for you.
Ty can do it. I'll ask him. Okay, hi, update.
Okay, any more on that topic? I think what are our follow-up steps? I think, this will probably be scheduled for next time. I think NAU is still working through their, rules, so they're considered a draft. I think they would welcome any feedback that we might have to help make things consistent between the city and NAU campus.
Martin, have you talked to NAUPD about any of this either? Because I recall that in some of these conversations around the different categories that NAUPD was involved in that conversation to help with enforcement on campus for where people can and can't be.
If they, we haven't, I mean, we generally work through Aaron.
Yeah, and Aaron could bring in NAUPD. And I don't know if the rules would be different, but just because someone correct me if I'm wrong, probably Ryan, if NAUPD would deal with it, if there was a violation, I think, where,
Enforcement on campus.
yeah, enforcement on campus, if there was a major issue, I assume that'd be NAUPD.
I believe so. It would be NAU if it's in there. I don't know if there's public safety. I can't remember the exact name. They're not sworn security
Right.
people, if they have the authority to write that or not. But yeah, if NAU does do enforcement, the police department would be the ones to speak to.
And it might have been like a noise issue that I'm thinking of with the aforementioned very loud dirt bike, gas powered dirt bike, but I just recall them being in the room. And weighing in on some of these classifications related to enforcement.
I used to help NAUPD at orientation, talking to the incoming freshmen and stuff about where to ride and stuff like that. And I do know that generally, I think they would rather have bikes and all these on the pedways and the paths
Yep.
rather than in the roadway, because there are not as many bike lanes. Because I think they want them. And there have been some injuries for skateboards going down, San Francisco, things like that. So, which is hard because the second they cross the street, right, that the city doesn't want them on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? So it's, yeah, so there definitely needs to be some education, definitely, Right. There's not a BAC when I don't say that at least one time. Sorry.
Okay, you can check that box. You
Okay.
can leave now. Okay, so do we want to rewind back to old business, the bikeways plan? We do want to make sure we leave time for some of these things on the new business.
Yeah, I don't have anything new on, bikeways plan.
Okay,
It's our, medium to long-term goal to have, a more formal document prepared.
Mhm.
But that may take a little time.
be great to see the plan with some, at least some draft timelines in there and it would be neat to have that same thing and then show projects that are underway and what their completion date is estimated and post that on the FBAC page on the city site. Great.
Agreed.
We'll get one of your people on that right away.
Your,
They can do it.
it sounds like Trump
They,
They.
Sounds like something Trump would say, I'll get my people to do it.
Well, that probably means it's not gonna get done. Depending. So are you done with bikeways plans?
Yeah,
Okay, well, how about the Butler Avenue Complete Streets Conversion Concept Plans? I reviewed the technical report, but I didn't read it cover to cover.
I didn't have anything formal, just for context. The city was awarded a federal Safe Streets for All transportation grant to do a conversion of Butler Avenue between Milton and Sawmill. That will involve building a separated bike lane adjacent to the sidewalk, adding ADA crossings and ramps where needed, including a parkway or a boulevard between the bike lane, sidewalk, and the street, where we have space, and enhancing the existing crossing at Humphreys, adding a new crossing at O'Leary, and then building protected intersections at Butler and Beaver, Butler and San Francisco, and Butler at Sawmill, which will go with the one that's being constructed at Butler and Lone Tree, as a part of another project. So that's the federal grant. In support of that, we prepared 15% concept plans to see what that would look like on the ground. And that really is what is presented in that technical report. So I just provided that to kind of give you an idea of what all those things that we've talked about actually look like when they're designed or given a preliminary design on the ground. So if anybody's had a chance to look at it, if you have any questions or comments about what's in there. It did occur to me that I didn't look to make sure that the big cottonwood tree.
It said it was gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Was it
But,
there?
yeah, but the
Yeah.
parkway is gonna be eliminated to accommodate it.
Yeah.
Check and look for it. Good deal. All right, letter of support for the application for the Federal Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Program at TIP grant. TIP grant.
Chris?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Chris Fair, transportation planner with the with the city of Flagstaff. Just wanted to take a few moments to let you guys know about the city's latest grant application. This is to the FHWA Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Program, or ATIP grant. We are currently preparing an application for a federal ATIP grant to fund concept planning for 2 bikeway foots corridors. These are both in the ATMP, and so one of them is going to be the Milton Bikeway, which has been a topic of discussion with this committee before, and also the Santa Fe Foots Trail extension. And the final component of the grant application is a ped bike bridge that goes over Milton at Malpai, that would bridge between the Santa Fe Foots Trail and the Milton Bikeway. We are applying for dollars for planning and preliminary design. There is $45.5 million available from this source. So we are hoping to carve out approximately $630,000 for our project. This would be a really good step forward for developing some really solid separated commuter corridors through South and West Flagstaff. So attached to the agenda, there's a 1-page project description, which please feel free to take a look at. It's got a map of the project as long as some other important details. And today we are requesting a letter of support from the BAC. Just for some context, we are looking to submit by next Friday, which is June 14th. The official deadline is June 17th. And we've provided a draft letter of support to expedite that process for you all. But just to let you know, we have already received letters from ADOT, Coconino County, Flagstaff Biking Organization, Metro Plan, Mountain Line, and a congressional letter of support. So we're well on our way. Very excited about this project, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Chris, was this the map that showed the the bikeway? So it showed the underpass that's going to be built between the transportation, the new hub, and downtown. So
Yep.
So is the Walnut underpass no longer part of any plan? Not
I'd
that
be
I'm
happy to provide to shed some light on this. So yeah, all of that is pretty accurate, except the Florence Walnut is still underway. That's part of the downtown mile slew of ped bike improvements that will be going on downtown. And the Milton Bikeway proposed alignment capitalizes on a few of those projects. There's the two underpasses. One is a project from the Rio to Flag realignment, and it would use the existing culvert that goes underneath Route 66 to provide ped bike access on either side of Route 66. Then as part of the Downtown Connection Center project, there will be another ped bike underpass that goes under BNSF near the the new site of the Downtown Connection Center. The Milton Bikeway capitalizes on both of those ongoing projects, aligning itself through them. And separately from that, the Florence Walnut project will also be going on, providing good access to the west of that.
So if you think of the Rio to Flag project is built an underpass under Route 66 for a foot trail, and they're going to rebuild the Karen Cooper Trail from Route 66 all the way to Benito, and it will be paved where it is now it's aggregate. The downtown mile is going to build a bridge that will allow the trail to go under the BNSF tracks to get to the downtown, where the Downtown Connection Center is. The project Chris describes and is working on the grant for, there we go, maps. I always need maps.
Maps.
We'll study taking that bikeway from the BNSF tracks all the way to Lake Mary Road, basically paralleling Milton, and on the west side of campus. It's sort of a alternate super bike highway to Milton Road. And then, part of it will be looking at how we get across Milton, either through a bridge someplace or the existing underpass that's being built at University. The Santa Fe one goes off from there to the west, and that will connect to this bikeway, to the Milton Bikeway, via a bridge over Milton. Did I get that right, Chris?
Oh yeah, Martin, that all sounds great. And yeah, a key component of this is we're really trying to, work synergistically with ongoing city investments. So routing through those underpasses that are already under construction, including the one that will go underneath Milton at University. It's all very good. So the further I get along with this application, the stronger I feel like it is. We're very excited about it. So a letter of support from the BAC would be much appreciated.
great. Well, and I read the template, and I can do the official draft of it if you want me to. Although I will always throw in something about climate change because I can't help myself.
That's perfectly good to me. Climate resiliency is a component of the grant application as well. So whatever you deem appropriate as the BAC is good with me.
So I'm willing to draft that letter how do we get it approved by the 14th? I could send it out to everybody by Monday or something, and you guys,
Did you look at the?
I read over the template, yes. Looked all good, except it didn't have anything about climate change.
Also, it's written in the singular person and we're a committee, so
Yeah,
just a minor editorial note.
yeah.
So one option is that if the committee's comfortable approving it with those changes, to add something about climate resiliency. And then to,
Be written in a collective voice
Yes.
to say we support.
So if, with those amendments to the template, is everybody unanimous in approving that letter of support?
I'm good with it, but Daniel has his hand up.
Daniel, go ahead.
Well, I can tell you just hearing Martin's description of the plans plural, it's probably the first time I've had goosebumps while sitting in this committee. Very exciting. That would be so, I mean, that would be a game changer. Can we just give approval for Karen to run with it, or how do we do it?
yes, I think we're talking about using the letter as kind of as is, but adding something about climate resiliency, and then changing the
Voice.
from the singular to the collective.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Susan, yeah, can we just give Susan approval to just write for us?
You don't
I called
really
you
think of me
Karen.
as a Karen, do you?
I don't. You are the manager of the BC Window Bike Shop.
But not a Karen, but not a
No,
Karen.
no.
Okay, thanks.
And yes, Daniel, the committee can do that.
Okay,
So shall we have an official vote? All in favor of the template?
You need a motion in a second.
Okay.
I will motion that we have a vote.
So all in favor of writing a letter of support with 2 changes, including a voice change and a inclusion of some climate change wording. All in favor, say aye.
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 Yeah, we didn't have a
Oh,
second.
a second.
Someone has to second it.
Oh, I was gonna second. Robert's
come
rules.
on.
Okay, so a second, I'll second. You did the motion. I'll do the second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All against, say nay. Passes unanimously. Strongly. All right. Very good. BAC appointments and reappointments. As I understand it, we've got 3 people who have been approved to join BAC. They will start their term next month, or they will start their term. So we're gonna have a full meeting next in July on the 3rd, if that works for everybody. And then the 3 new members, which are all here online, include Kai Kelly, Kevin Hayes, and Jen Hanks. Although I believe, is it true Jen will not be able to attend the July meeting?
Yeah, that's correct.
Jen, could you just give us a little quick bio, why you wanted to be on the BAC, what your background is, what kind of biking you like to do, since you won't be here next month?
Yeah, so I've been a cyclist for as long as I can remember. It's a huge part of my life. I like to mountain bike, ride on the road a little bit, and I also have a commuter bike that if I could, I would ride that everywhere. I've lived in Flagstaff for a little over a year. And I lived in Las Vegas previously for about 5 years, and before that, Northern Utah. But in Vegas, I got involved in advocacy with mountain biking and made a lot of changes there, and it was really rewarding for me. I did things like I testified to Congress on behalf of the Biking on Long Distance Trails Act. And last year I went to DC with International Mountain Bike Association for some advocacy work. Now that I live in Flagstaff, I'm just really excited to support my community here and just build upon all these great things that are already happening with cycling infrastructure and advocacy here.
Great, you sound like an excellent addition to the team. Why don't we just go ahead and have Kai and Kevin go ahead and give their own short bios, why they want to join and what their interests are and et cetera. So let's start with Kai.
Hey, yeah, how's everybody doing? I moved to Flagstaff. This year will mark a decade, so it's been about 10 years, and I moved here like many for school, and I started riding a bike out of necessity as a commuter, and slowly but surely started getting bikes with bigger tires, but I never stopped commuting. And a few years ago, I got involved with the local bike co-op, Lefty Lucy, and we would meet once a week and fix up old donated bikes or people's bikes that they brought in, and then kind of redistributed them at a very, very affordable, kind of like meeting people where they are. And since then, Lefty Lucy's found like a permanent home at the shelter, I believe, and I haven't really been involved in it since then. But I used to like do tabling events, and I think I'm definitely not a born mechanic, so I think the people who are still working there are much more qualified. But yeah, I currently work at Rogue Panda, sewing bike bags for people. And I started working there after I rode the Great Divide route, which goes from Mexico to Canada. So I've put quite a few miles in on my bikes, and yeah, just super passionate about making our community safer for cyclists and more friendly to encourage more people to get out on the bikes and off the road for many reasons, including climate concerns. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I will say I'm an alternate on a grand jury as of 2 weeks ago that meets every Thursday. So that's supposed to go till 5, and so there may be a few Thursdays where I am late or unable to attend. But yeah, that's me.
How wide a tire are you up to?
What's that? Oh, 3 inches on my mountain bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
They go to 4.
Yeah.
Actually, they go over 4.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, I'm old school.
And where were you from before Flagstaff?
Oh, I grew up in Phoenix. Yeah, so didn't really, I rode bikes around the neighborhood as a kid, but commuting, I don't think anyone really conceives of that as an option, at least in where I grew up in the suburbs. So moving up here was like super eye-opening, and the freedom to kind of navigate town on the bike paths and the foots, and like quickly, pretty much anything's a 15-minute ride away max. So it's been great.
Great. Good to have you join. And Kevin.
Hi, everyone. Kevin Hayes. I was 25 years at NAU. I retired in July of 2023 and have been doing some bike safety work for NASCA. And I ride an e-bike. That's my primary mode of transportation around town. I've been working with Jeff Bauman in the city to try to make traffic lights safer for pedestrians and e-bikes. And I just recently started doing some work with ADOT, and we've made some progress on that end too. I'd love to share that with you, but I'm honored to be a part of this committee, excited to be a part of it, and I'm excited to see where we go with it. So.
Awesome. I know you've been at a lot of our meetings here before, so it'll be good to have you on officially.
Yeah, I'm excited. So
Great.
Thank you all again. And I don't take it lightly, so thank you. I really do appreciate it.
Great.
I just like to cut in real quick. Sorry.
Sure.
I haven't attended many of these meetings, so if anybody on the bicycle committee currently wants to connect or has any good resources for me to catch up so I'm prepared for the next meeting, that'd be great. I do have to leave here in a minute, but yeah, also very honored. Thank you.
I think you'll find immersion by fire will be not that awfully painful.
There is no onboarding.
Awesome.
There
Sounds
could
good.
be.
I'll spearhead it.
There can be, yeah.
I
Yeah,
believe in
ask Sam.
onboarding.
She-
We could work to put some information together to give.
I think that'd be
people some
great.
Context, yeah, if you're willing to help with that.
I'm willing,
Archive
willing and
it.
eager.
Archive
Yes,
it,
so-
Sam.
I'm so happy to
If you have some
onboard.
suggestions, Right.
All of my 60 years of notes and agendas.
Actually, I would take that too.
Get access to like BAC minutes going back to like the late 90s. If
That'd
you're,
be great.
For a
Yeah,
while,
I'm
you could
interested.
actually see the videos, but I don't.
Sam,
think we
Sam
have
has an even deeper history than that. And
I mean, as a child, I was.
no, I mean, with your research.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. The
Yeah.
70s, the old plans,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's, there's been lots of organizations that preceded this in its current format.
Correct. Yes.
And all those people are heroes.
Stella has something to say.
Estella, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, so with when these new members are officially appointed, does that mean that the 3 members will be replaced?
We will be going.
Unfortunately.
So next
Aw.
meeting.
We've not expanded to 10 people.
Yeah.
We're still at 7.
So the July meeting will be the last meeting for Kim, me, and Math.
Oh wow, we should have a
Oh.
party
So
or
the next-
something.
Yeah.
I was told there would be snacks.
Well, we could just move the
Oh,
whole meeting to
that was
Darmstadt.
me, wasn't it? I was,
Yes.
was I the snack
You said
person?
that there would be cookies.
I thought we were gonna have the next meeting at Dark Sky Brewery
That'd also
patio.
be good.
That would be, I think that would be appropriate, but I may not get an okay on that from the city.
Don't worry, Estelle, I still am coming, just I have a different hat.
Well, maybe we can end early and then get a drink after.
Yes, great.
And early? Well, I won't be the chair by the end of the meeting, so, that you can do anything you want. We could quit at 5. But, yeah, we will be electing a new chair then at the July meeting. So, I don't know whether Jen wants to put her name on the ballot or not, but she'll have to do it before the meeting. And maybe, and Jen, can you still attend online? Potentially?
Probably not. So I'm gonna be in Andorra, and it would be like, and I'm gonna be in the middle of a mountain bike stage race, and it would be like, I don't know, 2 o'clock.
I
in the
think that would
morning
be
there.
super exciting to have a phone mounted on the front of your bike.
Otherwise, I would definitely join remotely
Yeah.
wherever I was.
Well, you'll just have to wait until next time then.
When we get to the end of the agenda, because our next scheduled meeting falls on July 4th, so we have to
Change it.
reschedule. Yes, we can talk about when that might be. It could be, for example, it could be the day before, it could be the week after. So we have.
Can't be the week before.
Could be the week before, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll get to that part of the agenda.
Yeah, because it's not your birthday.
My birthday? No,
July?
that's in January 4th.
I knew it was, I knew
You're
it was
6
a
months
J.
off,
It was
yeah.
a J month.
Okay, yeah. No, that would be a horrible birthday present. Kicking the butt. All right, so, do we want to go ahead and talk about an update on urban trails and bikeways maps?
I'll send out a link. We're pretty much out of Foots maps. We're momentarily gonna have them reprinted, so I'll send you a link to the new document.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, it'll look much like the old document, but include updates.
Short, I tell you.
Well, why mess with a thing that
That's
seems.
a perfect thing, yes.
Yeah.
Well, like, I could offer one
Don't broken
suggestion.
it, don't need fix it.
It does tear easily, but I always tell people that's a good excuse to just come back to a sporting goods store and get another one.
Yeah, and that, you know, the more recycled content the paper
cheaper it
has,
is.
the more likely it is
To break and
crack.
fall apart.
Yeah, so we're at 30%, which is fairly high, but
Yeah.
it's like a few folds and it's gonna break.
Yeah.
So pick your poison, like less recycled?
Bandana.
Yeah. make me a
That's
big-
how old that was. I have a bandana.
I have a bandana, the Futz Trail, or maybe the Arizona Trails.
But
Yeah.
I checked the recent values for that on Facebook Market.
Ooh.
was it high?
I kept washing mine to see if it would ever get soft, and it never did. All right.
Simultaneous with that, uh, there are a handful of trailhead maps around town that are part of the urban trail system that have the equivalent of the urban trails and bikeways map. And we'll get those reprinted and reinstalled out in the field.
Are you talking about the Emmett Parks maps?
No.
No.
The trailhead signs. Yeah.
Trailhead, oh, the
Are
trailhead
in
signs.
9 different places around the foots.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then recently, 2 new ones were put in that don't have any map at all. So we're getting that map redone, and the old map will be replaced with the new one.
Okay. Good. Bicycle education classes?
What gives me the evil eye.
Say something.
Say something, say something.
Spotlight fans.
Later this month, Martin and I will be teaching a smart cycling class. It's a very small invite only type of a class. And it will be the beginning stage in becoming an LCI, which is a league certified instructor through the League of American Bicyclists. So this is sort of like the first step. And then after that, you have to attend this first step. And then after that, there's a 3-day, really big workshop. And then in order to be certified. So we're starting that. We have 2 officers from Flag Police Department and 1 officer from the Sheriff's Office attending, which is awesome. And it's Martin and I teaching it, so it's gonna be fun. There you go. I don't know. What else do you have to
Give
say?
us a date.
It is June 21st. It's Friday, June 21st in the evening and the morning of June 22nd. There it is, Friday and Saturday. It's an 8-hour course. Did you get an invite?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't matter then.
Did you hear invite only? It's going to be a very small
Well, I thought
class.
maybe I got an invitation
I was
later today.
gonna say that everybody who's on this call should invite it.
I'm just
We're-
teasing.
We're just doing the invite only to like create a buzz, like to make it seem like it's.
Right. And Susan, I was totally kidding. But I mean,
I will be in Montana though, or going there
that sounds really fun.
for a wedding.
Montana.
Oh.
If you're like going to Andorra, we can maybe Montana.
I think we should all jump in Jen's suitcase.
Hi, this is Kevin. I did get that invite. I'm sorry, I'll be in California as well, but won't be able to attend, but thank you for the invite email.
Will there be more of these classes? Of course there will be.
And it kind of depends. I mean, once people are certified as LCI, league cycling instructor, we can, like, they can teach. the
Conduct
class
them as many as we want.
The idea is to increase the number of instructors in the city.
Yeah.
Because right now,
Just you two?
it's us 2. There used to be more and they've since moved on
Yeah.
or retired or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's the idea. So absolutely.
Yeah, well, I'd like to, but I will be driving
Okay.
miles that day.
Those, the classes are not for the instructor, but the instruction, is that for kids or for adults or all?
It's for adults,
Adults only?
adults only.
Okay.
And
If you're an LCI, you can teach classes for kids too. I mean, Kim does.
I do that all the time. Yes.
Oh, okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
I do teach. As a matter of fact, I have 2 classes at Fort Tut Hill in the next 2 months. We're gonna teach a bunch of kiddos. So yes.
Catch as catch can.
Mhm.
reports and updates, safe streets for all standards, regional plan. What do you want us to do about these things?
Real quick, Metro Plan received a grant for $2.5 million. Is that correct, including the
2 point-
match?
2.1, I don't know. Yes.
To do supplemental planning for the city, for transportation. So part of what that will do, we think, we're still working on the scope, but part of it will be a streets master plan. We can look at other kind of things, planning information or policy information that we need for the city to move forward with transportation generally, which, you know, is going to have an emphasis on walking and biking and make it part of that grant. That will be unrolled over the next couple of years, probably.
Can I ask a question about that? Could data collection be part of that grant? I know in previous in previous meetings, we've talked a lot about how there isn't data for pedestrian and bicycle use in a lot of Flagstaff, and therefore it can be hard to indicate, for example, that lots of bicyclists use a particular piece of infrastructure or that pedestrians use a piece of infrastructure. Is that possible?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. In fact, we have talked about having a component of the grant have a consultant collect that information for us on kind of a one-time basis, and
Is
then
this like a trip diary or a traffic counts and stuff?
yes, but even more in depth and specific to ped and bike counts.
Okay.
So do something for us right off the bat, and then kind of set us up to be able to replicate that information or to collect information in the future. So that could be like the kind of the immediate information they could do with portable counters, but maybe they give us advice on how to set up permanent counters or how to do a study every 5 years or whatever it is, or what data sources are available now, like from cell phones or something. So we can not only have that information, but kind of keep it ongoing.
And I believe Metro Plan is planning to collect some data as well. It's in the coming soon to Metro Plan.
Is it the trip diary survey?
I think they're doing some trip diary stuff and they're planning on some sort of data collection.
We almost might have a volunteer.
I feel like I have to ask this professionally. Do you have a plan of where you're going to store and maintain that data for after or just think about it. Think about how you're going to maintain if it's public data, just, you know, bringing in my professional expertise here. It used to be that the city would give a lot of this kind of information to the public library and Klein Library, which is why we still have copies of the bikeways plan that I believe the city does not have anymore, or at least not handy.
I have the originals.
Okay, good. I'm glad you have them. Sometimes I've been contacted because they were not kept physically. So just a thought about long-term preservation of your data so you can use it.
We were thinking of, we have some old 5 1/4 inch flop disks.
Sounds great. Everyone loves those. Yeah, totally. No problems.
I think one of them is, what were they, like 360K is one of them.
Cool.
Big.
Remember those?
Oh, yeah. The 5 1/2s and the 3 1/4s.
Yeah.
I remember before they were invented.
Yeah.
Well, you probably remember the
There's
cards,
bigger.
the cards. All right.
Okay, moving on. We completed the first round of engineering standard revisions. They were adopted by the council and have taken effect. We're beginning work on the second round. I have a document that summarizes everything that we did in the first round and what we're working on in the second round, and then even what we're planning to do in the third round. So I meant to share it beforehand, but I'll share it with the group.
Old curves were a point of further discussion, shall I say?
It wasn't until midnight discussion, was it?
Well, I mean, the vanishes, they're cheaper, but on the other hand, people in wheelchairs have a hard time with them, you know, et cetera. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
And they may encourage people to park on sidewalks.
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
and turn bikes into scofflaws. Keep going.
Okay, Flag Regional Plan has just produced a draft of the transportation chapter. They have a standing committee that has been meeting and reviewing chapters as they've been developed. I'm not sure if that's a public meeting or not, but if I think it should be because it's a city meeting. Generally, they almost always are.
Yeah.
So if I will share that information, I think the meeting is next week. And I think if you get like a link to the meeting, you should have access to the document as well, but I'll find out and share whatever we can. First mile, last mile, we continue to work with the engineer. First mile, last mile is a federal grant that Mountain Line got, and it is for ped bike projects that support transit. So we've identified where we're missing sidewalks, crossings, and bike lanes in proximity to transit stops, and are working on a plan to complete them. So we're just in the kind of final stages of reviewing the 60% plans. And from there, we move forward to 100% plans, which are the final construction documents. There's a contractor on board through a process where we bring a contractor on board who advises us as we're developing the plans, because they may have suggestions about how to do the plans that will make it easier for them and less expensive for them to deliver as a project. One of the things that we want to do next with that project is some public outreach to at least let people know where to expect new sidewalks, bike lanes, and crossings. So hopefully in the next week or two, we'll have that some information ready, including potentially a public a place where people can submit comments on it and see a map of where these things are. So when we have that information for the public, I'll share that with the group as well. You have actually seen the map, but it's been probably a year. I think we at one time looked at where these projects are located. It's been a little while. Fremont Boulevard. I'm going to let Kim take that one, and then we have a video to show you for that.
Ooh. It's done.
It's done. It's a thing.
Done.
Asphalt has been painted.
Yeah, Martin has a drone. We painted it in 3 days. So City of Flagstaff Engineering and Planning, Chris, David, Reed, we all installed, and Metroplan, we all installed the delineators and for the project, and then the artist and Metroplan worked on gridding and kind of taking the art from paper to asphalt using 4x4 grids. And
Paint by numbers.
it was kind of, and then we outlined the areas so that when you saw light blue, you painted light blue. You know what I mean? And then there were 5 sections, about 7,000 square feet of paint. We had about 180 some volunteers, and we had a big opening ceremony and a first brush stroke from some elected officials, and we had a big party and music and painted a roadway. There you go.
And we'll show the video, but just for context, this was I don't know, did you mention this was a grant from Bloomberg?
This is a grant from Bloomberg. It is not taxpayer money, but Bloomberg money. And we worked with FALA art students and some local artists to develop the art, and the community voted on 3 different designs, and the wetlands design won. And basically what Bloomberg has been studying with their asphalt initiative is making geometric changes to the roadway in order to increase pedestrian and bike safety. The art is the pretty part. So the art itself does not do anything other than make it look prettier. It's the geometric changes that really increase safety and change driver behavior. So we were hoping to see decreased speeds. We decreased the size of the crosswalk, meaning the part where pedestrians and vehicles can come into contact. So now instead of 2 lanes on each side, there's only 1 lane on each side now. We kind of created a median type of a thing, and we will be putting out a survey, and we'll be working with the city on traffic to do some traffic studies to see if we actually see some changes. We're very hopeful.
Is it a public survey that?
It will be a public survey on Flagstaff Community Forum. We'll probably use social media to direct people there or to our website. Absolutely. What else? What other questions can I answer?
Let's show the movie
wanna
and
see
then
it?
I might
I wanna
have
see the
some
video.
more questions.
I'm here to answer the questions. This is my first project management. Trial by fire.
Kim did both a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous job organizing all this.
So your resume, have a link to this video, right?
Right. Right. This was taken by a neighbor that was super excited. He came out and he says, I have a drone. Can I do this? There is another, if you looked on social media, there's a Supervisor Horstman came out that day and made emergency management come out and bring out the drone. And she had a couple videos. Bloomberg there'll be more information. We're finalizing all the information that Bloomberg needed, and it will be up on their website soon.
So any PR you do on this should say who paid for it. Because I remember when we did some painting of streets in downtown,
Right,
council got all kinds of emails about, why are you wasting our money?
right. And we have had people say taxpayer, and we keep saying Bloomberg, and I don't think people understand that
It's like
Bloomberg is,
no tax money.
right, Bloomberg is not taxpayer money. Our grant, the Bloomberg grant was 25,000. And we're hoping to put together kind of a toolkit for other people to use.
Other neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's the hope. My AmeriCorps intern has taken this on and she's kind of running with it. So she's gonna do some fun stuff. So there's a frog, there's ducks, there's an Avert squirrel, 2 herons, and 3 fish.
And are those candlesticks permanent or they were just for painting day?
They are permanent. That is what we installed.
So the intent is to not have people drive on.
The intent is not. Now, let me reiterate, this is a temporary project. The paint will fade. And there are no plans at this moment to repaint it.
What kind of lifetime are they expecting?
Well,
We'll see.
we were trying to find that out. Bloomberg, each project is in a different location, and some of them are crosswalks and being driven over. It just depends. I would be really happy if we still saw some of this next year. We did use eco-friendly paint, water-based eco-friendly paint from Sherwin-Williams, and we did not put a top coat on it. But we did try and get 2 coats.
Well, that would fit in better with the wetland theme.
Right.
Here's your toxic plate.
Right.
Create a flag.
This is sort of the first installment of a longer term plan to make the 2-lane to 1-lane conversion permanent.
Mhm.
And so there may be opportunities when that restriping is done permanently to add art as part of that.
BPAC has said, BPAC was one of our partners and they were amazing. There has been talk about potentially, maybe not the exact design, but potentially getting those thermoplastic stencils and adhering them to the asphalt, so it's more permanent, rather than paint. But I don't know, some communities use paint and just touch it up every year. I don't know. Lessons learned. Maybe not do medians in the future. Just, there's a lot involved, especially if other neighborhoods want to do something like this, because you have to stop traffic. And I know, Sam, that was your first experience of being yelled at. I
Specifically on my bike, not in my life.
No, but there was some very angry people, with this project. And I understand change is difficult, so it was, part of the deal, but,
Still has questions.
we had a significant portion of our budget went to traffic control plans and closing the roadway for 3 days for this project. So I think if you were to paint bike lanes, like Tempe has painted bike lanes, and you don't have to close traffic, or at least all lanes of traffic. Or if you did bulb outs and bike lanes and crosswalks and things like that, it might be a little bit cheaper and easier, as far as, like a pop-up demonstration kind of a thing. But we'll see what I can wrangle up next.
Estella, you have a question?
Yeah, just wanted to, again, Kim and the Metro Plan team did an awesome job. So congrats again on completing this project. Also, just wanted to note, at least from my memory, this is kind of one of the first road diets where the city has reduced a lane. So definitely I'm glad that, we're able to test this out and pilot this project. Because projects like this hopefully will reduce fatal crashes in the future. So I definitely support city taxpayer dollars on projects like this in the future. And I think it is just like educating the benefits of projects like this, and hopefully there will be some good results so that, we don't get as many negative complaints asking to not use city taxpayer dollars in the future.
There may be a different reaction if it's a public art project versus if it's a safety
Well, I've learned,
traffic calming project.
yeah, I've learned a lot of people don't particularly like public art. But there, and I will say, this wouldn't have happened without Mountain Line and City of Flagstaff and BPAC and FALA, and everyone came together. And one thing that I didn't realize, hang on, Chris, that, oh my gosh, speeding is a problem on Fremont, at least before. I didn't think it was that big of a deal until we were in the roadway. Thank goodness for Chris and David being spotters when we were trying to grid. People speed, and they will speed up to scare you on purpose. I don't know, Chris, go ahead. You can elaborate on that one.
Sure. Well, yeah, just a couple of quick things on the project. It was a great experience. I want to echo the appreciation for everything that Kim did to pull this off. She was out there every day, and we were in many meetings leading up to it. It got more and more tumultuous as the project approached, and she never wavered. So great job, Kim.
Tumultuous, that is a great word, Chris.
And yeah, just to clarify one or two things related to the project, while the art, the paint that is the art, is expected to wash away probably within the next couple of months. It'll be interesting because we actually have not had rain since this was installed, as far as I understand. So it'll be interesting to see how the first rainstorm impacts it. But while the candlesticks may be impacted by plows over the winter or drivers, through time, this is the standard, restriping plan for it. So that the striping will remain until we transition to our larger neighborhood wide corridor wide project that we've ran through Transportation Commission and had meetings with the neighborhood that will reduce the majority of the roadway down to 1 lane in each direction. And yeah, I thought I had one more point, but yeah, great job, Kim. It was a lot of fun. Oh, and we will be studying, restudying speeds along this corridor sometime in the next month or so. We wanted to give it 30 days so that people had time to adjust to how the road travels, but we will have those results sometime, maybe not by the next meeting, but we might have something to talk about with the following. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
One-
Go ahead.
Sorry, one more important point. That's me right there.
Very important.
That
Not
is
looking
you.
at the camera.
That is you.
If you zoom in, are there any birds in that picture? Or?
Those are herons.
Oh,
I'm working on cleaning up the edges of the heron's wings.
okay, good. So is there any long-term ideas of making this somehow permanent? Or just so if you put some kind of top coat, it might have lasted longer.
I don't know. Some of we did a lot of research on paint and not necessarily.
Huh.
There were some that did put a top coat and it was gone really fast and some not. Fort Collins does a lot of this asphalt art. As a matter of fact, they're getting ready to undergo a 17,000 square foot project, asphalt art. They don't put any top coats on theirs. So
Do they use water-based paint?
I believe they do, but that's Aubrey's. Paint was her wheelhouse. We kind of split duties.
I think the biggest surprise of this whole project to me was that you used water-based paint.
That was
Well,
one
we're
of
in the
the,
desert, so that it'll be safe.
that was one of the requests from the neighborhood was to use eco-friendly paint. And it came down to water-based has the lowest VOCs and is considered eco-friendly. And it was a request specifically from the community.
So was there any parking along this road before that is no longer there? And did that cause antagonism at all? Or
All the parking that was there is still there. I think the permanent solution will add parking past the townhouses all the way up to Fala.
okay. So,
People, the neighborhood is very curious about what will occur and where the snow is gonna be placed. Because I guess in the past, this is what I was told. I don't know this from streets, but that, it was put on the sides, because there wasn't, anyway, it was put on the sides and they use that extra lane. But in most cases, the extra lane is gone in some places. So my thought, it's gonna go in the middle now. Which then it might damage some of the delineators. I highly anticipate some of the delineators.
The problem with putting it in the middle is streets tend to be
Right,
crowned.
and then it
As
runs.
it melts, it
Yeah.
runs across, it refrigerates, it makes ice.
Yeah, I don't know that's definitely a streets. Concern or figuring out where to put the snow. If we get any, I feel like right now it's never gonna snow again.
Reminds me of the Butler Avenue thing. There was a big, well, where does the snow go now?
So I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Right, but they can be worked out.
Yeah.
Right, this is why it was demonstration, lessons learned. It'd be fun. I'm hoping to do this again in some other areas.
great. Good job.
Okay,
So,
the only other report is the last one. I'm happy to announce that we have hired a new multimodal transportation planner. His name is Carlton Johnson. He formerly worked for the city. He has a degree in engineering and a master's degree in planning. He started his career as a civil engineer. And then went back to school for planning and really is kind of on, his career trajectory is right in line with this position. doing.
That's what my 2 degrees are, engineering, master of environmental planning.
There you go.
I feel like I've met him before. It was,
You probably have, yeah. I think he was on the sustainability commission for the
Yeah.
city.
Okay.
He was on the planning commission until he got hired. Now I had to resign.
okay.
We expect him to start within the next couple of weeks. Honestly, I don't know when he's starting. Yeah. We haven't heard back from him.
Is he in
But you're
town?
ready to onboard him though, right?
On board, yes.
Yeah, onboarding.
This is onboarding.
I keep thinking of waterboarding. It's like,
Not that.
that sounds bad.
Not that.
We're gonna onboard the heck out of him.
I keep thinking of surfboard.
We're gonna
Yikes.
longboard, we're gonna shortboard, we're gonna.
Short sheet. It's all there. So, do we want to talk about the
Yes.
timing for the next meeting? Who can attend on July 3rd? That's Wednesday before the 4th of July.
I can.
Who can't attend on July 3rd? Is that just Jen?
I can set out a
That's me.
formal.
Would it, Jen, what is your, when would you be more available, before or after July 3rd?
After,
After,
Like the week after?
yeah, the week after. So the 11th, I think I get back. We'll fly to Phoenix the 9th, so I'll get back to Flagstaff the 10th.
so the 11th is a Thursday?
Yep.
That's when pedestrian advisory is.
That would require splitting Martin in two.
No, I don't think you can.
Combined meeting.
Another combined meeting. Would Wednesday, like July, well, no, you're just getting back the 10th. That not gonna work then?
The other option is to do before or after.
When do you leave town,
Yeah, so I
Jen?
leave, I'll be gone the Thursday before also.
I'll be gone that Thursday too.
Oh, okay.
The last Thursday in
In
June.
June, yeah,
Yeah.
the 27th.
Yep.
Well, so we may be stuck with the 3rd.
I think you should send out a poll and see if we can just find a quorum.
Because we're missing Matt and Valerie too.
Yeah,
Right,
that's true.
that's true, yeah.
All right, we'll contact Matt and Valerie and see if we can get a best date provided to you guys by the end of this week, maybe. What is today? Oh, no,
Maybe tomorrow. Like we can do tomorrow. Yeah, no, tomorrow's fine.
if Valerie and Matt can get back to you.
Yeah, that's not.
Okay. All right, well, with that, we could be adjourning early. Yikes. Early late.
Well, we're supposed to end at 6.
We
We
never.
never. 6:30 is a goal. And it's 6:22 that we are
I can get
adjourning.
used to that. Pedestrian advisory ends at 6.
So we could go
Religiously?
from,
We've had previous.
7 to
meetings.
9?
There's a, we got to 6. Like you could literally be in the middle of a sentence and it would be, okay, we're adjourned.
Out.
I think Ken Lane, I never saw him overshoot a meeting, but we didn't get as much done. Didn't change as much of the world. Well, very good then. This meeting is adjourned. Hope to see you all on a day that everybody can agree on.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
That was a
Besides,
very,
get that nice heat.
hey, Martin,